Hey guys, MoiDawg here, and today we're taking a look at Foxhole's next big update, Naval Warfare. It's been rumored for years now, but Wardens and Colonials will finally be able to battle it out in the open seas with massive ships, including destroyers, battleships, and submarines. Yes, not only will we be fighting on top of the water, but below it as well. And I was invited by the devs to check out everything early and help show off all the cool new stuff. Not only did we get a chance to check out every nook and cranny of these massive ships, but we also had a few simulated battles in the newly reworked Godcrofts region. These ships look good, they feel good, and they are so much fun to play, and I cannot wait to see them out in a real war. In this video, we'll be taking a look at all the ships, the crew positions needed to man them, all the mechanics and how they work, and of course, see how the weapons perform in battle. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Enlisted, a new kind of first-person shooter that combines PvP and PvE combat. In Enlisted, you can take command of a squad of customizable AI soldiers and fight in massive battles with and against other player-led squads and hundreds of enemies. With over 100 weapons, tanks, and aircraft, including things you probably recognize like the American Sherman, or some more obscure weapons like the VG2, Enlisted gives you the opportunity to customize you and your squad's loadout with a massive arsenal to choose from. Fight through multiple campaigns from the outskirts of Moscow in 1941 to the heart of Berlin in 1945. With a short time to kill for infantry and realistic damage models for vehicles, Enlisted is hardcore when it matters. You can play Enlisted for free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and by using my code in the link down in the description below, you'll get a free bonus pack including weapons, soldiers, and a premium account. Check it all out for free, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Thanks again to Enlisted for sponsoring this video, and now let's get on with it. Alright, so let's first take a look at the battleships. Both Colonials and Wardens will have their own version of the battleship, which, in true Foxhole fashion, is absolutely massive in scale. Starting off with the Colonial Titan, the ship has two 3-barreled naval artillery turrets that fire 150mm artillery shells, as well as a raised double-barreled 120mm turret. On the side are two mounted 12.7mm machine guns and 40mm naval guns, and down below deck you'll have the engine room, two ammo storage rooms, and a crew quarters, in addition to the spotter and driver seats at midship. The Warden Callahan has three double-barreled 150mm naval artillery turrets and two 30mm turrets, as well as a few mounted bone saws spread along the deck and a couple mounted 12.7mm machine guns near midship. Below deck is essentially the same as the Titan with two ammo storage rooms, an engine room, and crew quarters as well, and of course a driver and spotter seats at midship. When anchored, you can't enter any of these combat seats, but after pulling up the anchor and raising the ramps, you'll be good to go and underway. Now, if these battleships look intimidating, well, they should. Every turret has to be individually loaded manually by hand, not unlike artillery on land, and most have roughly 270 degrees of movement. The spotter in midship can call out distance and direction, and anything within 225 meters of you will get obliterated. These guns have an incredibly quick fire rate, and with just a few volleys can absolutely level a relic base.
3, 2, 1, fire. Ooh, that's beautiful. And again.
Hey!
What, so did we get it on that last round?
That's like four...
Yeah, last one got it.
Hey, that was my kill.
4 salvos or so, and you can pop it?
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, 4 salvos.
But what makes these guns different from the ones we're used to on land is that you can not only fire in indirect mode, but you can also broadside as well. By simply toggling on direct fire, you can level out the guns and take aim at whatever is directly in front of you. If you have targets within 100 meters, simply aim like you would in a tank and blast them. When you have all guns going, it's an insanely impressive amount of firepower. Now, as important as it is to have your turrets working and full of shells, that is really just a tiny part of what makes a battleship work. These things will most likely take entire regiments to maintain, since not only can the driver drive the ship as you would any other vehicle in game, but the engines can actually be manually adjusted forward or reverse in order to quickly change directions. By using a wrench, players can adjust either the port or starboard engines to full reverse, full forward, or have one forward and one reverse in order to help make quick turns with the ship. Without an engine crew, battleships have a painfully slow turning radius that nearly took us out of Hex when just trying to do a simple circle. But that's not everything you have to be worried about when you're below deck. Ships in Foxhole have health, but it's not really used in the same way that we're used to, meaning that you can't just do damage to the ship and have it eventually blow up like it would a tank. Instead, ships will begin to take hull damage due to impacts, and anything from a small handheld AT weapon all the way up to 150mm naval guns have a chance to penetrate the hull. If the round does penetrate, it will create a hole that will have to be repaired, and if this hole is below the waterline, well, then you'll slowly start to take on water. Just like they would in the real world, ships in Foxhole will die when they take enough water that causes them to sink, meaning that damage control is going to be a crucial part of any crew. You will not only need beam mats and a hammer to repair leaks, but will have to bail water out using buckets and even consider using bulkheads to seal off compartments and keep water restricted to a certain part of the ship. As the ship does take on water, it will begin to sink lower into the ocean, meaning that the hull damage in holes that may not have been a problem earlier will now be low enough to start taking on water themselves. And if certain sides of the ships are flooded, for example the bow or stern, you will begin to start to list to that side. This is an incredibly in-depth system, and when the rounds start flying, it gets absolutely crazy and your adrenaline starts pumping. When I was on the ship in the beginning, I thought, okay, this is huge. This ship is absolutely massive, and there's no way it actually needs to be this big. But as we began to fight another ship, I realized that with the amount of people that are going to be running around loading shells, repairing the ship, adjusting the engine, and bailing water, it's going to be an insanely busy place. And if you're wondering how all this works with spawns and storage, the crew quarters actually acts like a bunker base. And when you do get on the ship, you'll have to set spawn and can access the inventory when next to the beds. And if you do unfortunately die while on the ship, you will now see a new ship spawn option in the spawn menu. For combat, battleships are incredibly hard to manage due to how obscenely large the ship is itself. When sailing, you'll really need to manage your momentum or you'll find yourself running into land that you were not even close to just a minute before. When fighting other ships, we tried a few different methods, including spotting and using the long-range indirect fire, but eventually our driver just accidentally slammed into the enemy ship and we had our guns swapped to direct fire mode. It definitely wasn't the most typical or recommended of naval fights, and I also got turned to paste when I accidentally ran in front of the friendly gun battery when it was in direct fire mode, but we eventually boarded the ship and kept the crew killed long enough to let enough water pour in and eventually sink the Warden battleship. Yes, this isn't a bug, this isn't some weird glitch, but ships in Foxhole have been built with the intention for both friendly and enemy players to be able to board them. The ships themselves are faction locked, however, so you can't just go on and steal or pirate commandeer a battleship, but by being on the ship yourself, you can definitely harass the crew long enough for friendlies to come in and do some real damage.
Oh, no, I'm sync with them! I'm sync with them!
Everybody died.
Now, moving on to destroyers, we have a Colonial exclusive ship called the Conqueror. It has two double-barreled 120mm guns at the bow and stern of the ship, as well as two seats to fire depth charges. And since it is a bit smaller than the battleship, it only has 3 separate compartments: 1 ammo room, 1 engine room, and 1 crew quarters. Destroyers by nature are sub-killers, and as such, you'll not only have the usual 120mm guns on top, but you'll also have port and starboard depth charge launchers, which can toss Colonial exclusive Model 7 heavy depth charges at a set depth ranging from 6 meters all the way down to 29 meters. When the charge does hit that set depth, it will explode, hopefully damaging or killing any enemy submarines down below. In addition to these main guns and depth charges, the Conqueror also has a submarine sensor operator position, which puts you in a sonar view. Here you will have 2 separate modes: long-range directional sonar, which pings up to 500 meters, and short-range omnidirectional sonar, which pings to 50 meters. When you do ping, you'll receive a strength reading, with 1 being weak and 100 being strong. And the stronger the signal, the closer the object is to you. If the signal's too weak, you may just see an unknown depth, but if it's strong enough, you will see the depth pop up, and if it's also close enough, you can actually see the silhouette or outline of the ship in this eerie sonar view. This sensor operator is of course useful for finding and killing submarines, but also other ships, and the destroyer crew should be constantly scanning with sonar, in addition to looking out with the usual driver and spotter seats. Now, taken out for a spin, the sonar was really fun to use, but also very difficult. Trying to lock down a ping and figure out what it was, while also driving defensively to avoid any torpedoes, and then realizing there was a second submarine in the water, well, we were just scrambling to find our targets and not get sunk. The destroyer is quick, it's fun to use, and incredibly important for controlling waterways, but taking depth into account in Foxhole is just an extremely new way to fight. We're all used to the top-down gameplay, but top-down gameplay has at most seen us get to the bottom of a foxhole or bunker base, and players will have to quickly adapt to combat that may have the enemy literally underneath them without us knowing it. As a destroyer, even if you do get a jump on something like a submarine, naval combat is just so different, and since the damage system is reliant on leaks and causing them to sink, if you miss a lot of your shots and give the crew enough time, they can simply send the submarine underneath the waves and you're left just panicking and dumping depth charges. It's scary, it's intense, but it is incredibly fun. Now, the last ship we were able to play with was the Warden exclusive submarine, or Nakki, which is actually kind of funny if you know the Finnish language. Wardens have quite a lot of Finnish-based weapons in game, like the Aalto storm rifle or the Ahti pistol, which is pretty much a recreation of the Finnish Lahti pistol, but the word Nakki in Finnish actually means sausage. Like a hot dog, which I guess a submarine does look like, but I would also like to make a comment that maybe they were going for the word Nakki, which is like an evil water spirit in Finnish mythology. But anyway, language nerd moment over, let's take a look at the Nakki. Now, unlike every other ship we saw, this sub is tiny in comparison. You do have a 40mm turret on top if you are sailing, but the real power comes from the torpedoes. The ship's torpedo bay holds 8 Warden exclusive Moray torpedoes that can be fired 2 at a time out the front of the ship. And as the gunner, you can set both the distance and depth for it to fire, so if it doesn't hit anything along the way, it will just explode at the set distance and depth that you set it at. But firing torpedoes is actually the simplest part of the sub, since the devs have designed the entire thing in an extremely similar way to how real subs operate in the real world. The Nakki has 3 separate ballasts, one in the bow, one in the stern, and one at midship, and these ballast tanks can be controlled by the players to set the ship's buoyancy. When you're at the ballast, you can blow out the ballast tank and fill it with air, or flood it and fill it with water by using A or D. Now, I'm not a submariner, but according to the devs, the proper configuration to maintain neutral buoyancy is to keep the safety ballast in the back flooded to 100%, keep the main ballast in the midship flooded, and then have the front ballast completely blown. This will keep you buoyant in the water, allowing the driver to sail the ship and then the dive officer to fine-tune the depth. As a dive officer, you will see depth, vertical speed, pitch degree, dive plane deflection, and then battery charge. And that's kind of a lot, so let's quickly break it down. Depth is obviously the current depth the ship is at, and next to that you will see crush depth, which is 20 meters. Yes, if you do go too deep, the submarine will actually start succumbing to the intense water pressure, spring leaks, and then you'll need to emergency sail out of crush depth, or you will simply implode and die a dark, watery death. Uh-oh, we're about to be crushed.
How do I empty this front ballast?
Warning below crush depth.
Glitch.
Oh, we get leaks.
Oh my god. Ballasts.
I'm trying to raise
us.
I'm raising us.
Blow the real ballast. The rear one. That's the emergency one. Blow that one.
Are you?
A and D.
Okay. How do we fix the leak?
Okay, we're on the surface.
Okay.
Everything else on the screen here is indicating how fast you are diving or rising, specifically the pitch, which you can control yourself with either W or S. Battery charge is, well, your battery, and when submerged, the sub runs on battery, meaning that you cannot be underwater indefinitely. In order to charge the battery, you need to surface and stop moving. When on the surface, the sub will be running on heavy oil, just like every other ship, and the driver can see at the top left whether they're currently using that battery power or the heavy oil. Now, overall, the sub has an insanely high skill ceiling, and the devs themselves constantly reminded us that we will most likely kill ourselves multiple times. It is incredibly easy to screw up your ballast and the dive pitch and end up under that crush depth. And unless you have a quick working crew, you may not have the wherewithal to blow the ballast pitch up and then begin repairing. For our final simulated battle, we split up into 2 subs and off we went to hunt the devs who were in a destroyer. Finding them was hard enough, especially since we forgot about sea mines being a thing, but since they actually knew what they were doing and found us on sonar fairly quickly and then began shooting off accurate depth charges, we began springing leaks as explosions rocked the outside of the ship, and we began to panic a little bit as we sailed away right into another sea mine.
Ow!
There's like a sea mine.
no!
You see that?
Sea mine.
Double reverse engines!
Oh my god!
There's like a sea mine.
Oh, we hit it.
Oh, good.
We lost a man.
In the front, in the front. I need reps up front.
Oh my god. I need somebody on the dive operator.
Whoopsie.
Someone shoot, someone shoot.
I'm going
We can't
forward.
dive.
Going
All the
forward now.
ballasts were empty.
No.
Someone shoot the gun.
Things are not that joke.
Okay, we're diving. We're diving. I think. Nope.
At this time, I'm going out surface some direction with the 40.
The engines.
I'm not.
Double engine forward.
Oh,
Double
God.
engine forward.
We diving?
Quick.
Diving.
Guys, stop diving. Oh god.
Stopping
too
our
deep.
dive.
Can't
Stopping
dive.
our dive.
We're gonna be too heavy.
Oh no.
Seal. No. Oh, we're sinking. Blow the ballast again.
Blowing ballast.
Blow the ballast again. We're going too
No, no.
deep. Get us to the
Oh
surface.
my god.
Rip out of the ship, boys.
Oh, good.
Mid and aft ballasts are blown.
In the front. I need reps up front.
Just shut the front and the back. Seal the bulwark.
Yeah,
Seal the
okay, we'll
doors.
fix the engine
Just
in a minute.
Focus on the middle.
Oh no, I'm starting to swim.
Fuck.
I'm starting to swim. No.
Quick, climb out.
I dropped all my
buckets.
buckets. I dropped all my buckets.
We just have to fix it. 50%. We got this.
Use the ladder.
Drop all your
I'm gonna die in this metal tomb.
Oh no! Oh
It was
my
a
god,
Greek tragedy.
Alright, so we didn't sink any ships, but as you can see, sub combat is arguably my new favorite thing in Foxhole, and it's something that is going to take a lot of blown up subs to master. But with that, that's everything we were allowed to play with in this sneak peek. Naval combat is going to be absolutely game-changing, and I can confidently say it is incredibly fun. The naval warfare update for Foxhole is going to have more than just the ships we were allowed to play with in this early access session here, so do keep an eye out for future videos checking out all the new stuff. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for naval combat? Have the ships lived up to your expectations? And what is your favorite part of this update so far? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you would like to check out the war live, do make sure to join me and the Spuds over at twitch.tv/MoiDawg, where I'll be playing the update war when it does eventually release. And finally, do remember to check out Enlisted for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox for an amazingly unique World War II FPS experience. Click on the description down below for your free stuff, customize your squad, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Until next time, peace.